You want to be hardcore, you want to be extreme. Well, if you're like the Sandman, then you're listening to the podcast Drunk Wrestling History, dudes. And please be drunk when you hear it. Peace, I'm out.
I kept Kleenex in business in the late 90s.
Mike Awesome might have fucked Tanaka's wife.
But just say no to this pay-per-view.
Wait, were you making a death joke?
Told you we should have gone to the donkey show.
Stop choking yourself.
It's either death or defecation.
Woo!
What's up, Drunk Marks and Drunk Marquettes? Welcome to this week's episode of 205 Jive, the drunk wrestling history adventure that is designed to go easy on the liver. We got, I'm already drunk. Allow me to introduce myself. My name's Adam. I'm the designated host for this drunken wrestling adventure. Of course, we also got drunk wrestling historians.
This is Eddie. Step off. I'm doing the hump.
And this is Scott, educating the masses one drink at a time.
With said drinks, you just mix them up. What do you have today?
Well, we're both drinking are the last two bottles of the Halloween Havoc beer by Drunk Wrestling History and Brewery Company.
Well, we gave them a little something extra.
We souped them up a little bit because they were really good, but they weren't as pumpkin-y as I wish they had been, so I added some pumpkin spice, which I used earlier in the pumpkin martinis.
That foamed up like a motherfucker.
Yeah, it makes
too.
a difference. Yeah, it actually made a mess all over the place.
But it gives us a nice scent as you're drinking the beer, so you get the pumpkin and then you get the ale. It's delicious.
Yeah, it helped a lot.
It did.
And in addition to those, we all have a Jello shot. Scott and I have the Dreamsicle one. Adam has the non-alcoholic lemon one.
Yeah,
Right.
so
Pound
in
this
the
as a
middle of
blowjob.
Yeah, Adam wanted to do the blowjob because I guess he heard about that. So I'll do a blowjob on the Jello shot right now.
And let me just say, Adam going above and beyond his host duties
Coming up with blowjob.
with the offer to do the blowjob. Phenomenal.
I mean, we just passed a 1 year anniversary, trying new things, and I think this is also calls for a little celebration.
The blowjob.
we deserve these.
The blowjob is our 1 year anniversary gift from Adam.
Officially, yes.
All right, I'm gonna do it right now.
I'm happy to.
Hey,
offer
you said...
this.
Oh, okay. Ed, for the record, you guys can't see this at home. Ed has literally taken his shot glass into his mouth and done an official, proper blowjob.
So
It's
that's
so
the
fucking
technique.
good, dude.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not doing mine like that. I'll gag.
All right.
I will.
Adam will.
Beautiful.
You see his tongue work?
Yeah. No, I know.
That guy can rim like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
If only the Jello was brown.
Let's get some Jellolingus over here.
Right. Suddenly, this podcast is German.
He did good though. He took the full load.
He did. Not on his chest though.
Any around here, or are we good?
No, you're clean.
All right.
Yeah. Gotta watch it getting into your goatee.
Oh God, that second one. Okay. Maybe I just don't do it as often. What am I talking about? I don't do it as often. All right. So we got those shenanigans out of the way. For this week's episode, it was thrown to you, the audience. So just a simple reminder, if you do not like this particular episode, it's your goddamn fault.
Your fault.
Keep that in mind. This week, for our episode, this is Taboo BoozeDay. If you remember back in the days, I think there was just one pay-per-view of Taboo Tuesday, and then there was the set of Cyber Sunday pay-per-views, which were really, really fun to watch. We have created the concept for our show here, and there was a Twitter poll on the Drunk Wrestling History Twitter feed. Again, as a reminder, if you didn't get in on this and you want to follow us, and if we ever do this again, make sure that your voice is heard there, wrestling_drunk. This particular set, we had the following options. The three of us literally do not know who the winner is. We have vowed not to look at the results. We're going to find it out live, and we're just going to go into the episode. The four options were Daniel Puder, MMA crossover fighter. We also have Zeus, the movie star. And in WWF early 90s, we've got Eugene And a faction from 2000 to 2001, the Right to Censor, the famous RTC.
So you can't see yet. So Adam has my phone because it's on my. I run the Twitter account. You can't see. Don't look at it.
Oh, okay.
Does anyone want to guess who won?
I already put my guesses through. I think Pewter got the lowest amount of votes.
Okay.
And I'm going to guess that Eugene won.
Okay. What do you think, Adam?
I think Zeus won.
Okay. I'm gonna go with you, and I think Eugene might have won.
Who got the lowest?
Right to Censor, I think.
Okay.
But that was who Carissa voted for. Carissa thought that was really an interesting faction.
Interesting is
She
one
didn't
way to
see
put
it.
it.
She never saw it. I explained to her what it was.
Okay.
And she actually thought it sounded actually pretty interesting. So that's what she went with.
I'm sticking with Pewter as the low. Eugene is the high.
All right. Well, let's see the results, Adam. It's right there, right behind your iPad.
Okay.
Well hidden.
It was well hidden. It was right there. And, oh my God. Actually, between four, that's kind of a, I wouldn't say runaway, but a really good gap.
That's what she said. She said it was like a clear winner, clear loser, and the two in the middle were like neck and neck.
They were. Do you want to go through all the results or just the
Yeah,
winner?
start from the lowest.
From the lowest, with only 10% of the vote goes to Daniel Pewter.
Wow.
All right. I figured as much, dude.
Okay.
So you're right there.
Okay.
Next one up with 24% was RTC. And in a close gap with them, with 28%, was Zeus.
All right.
I think in preparation for this, I guess I watched him the most to try to get ready for it.
I'm sorry.
Who did you guys want to
don't-
win, though? Like, when you were looking at this list of four, you're like, okay, I hope this wins.
Okay, I wanted Zeus to win because I thought it would be the funniest.
Yeah.
Then I started researching, and I thought Eugene and Pewter were much more interesting than I thought
Okay.
they would have been. So I would still.
So you know me, I don't use Twitter as much as I used to. Like, I'm not even on. You had to hit me up like, dude, can you retweet this? 'Cause
Right.
I'm just not on Twitter anymore.
Yeah.
Just based on the four names, knowing people like I know people, I just figured Pewter would have the least amount of interest.
Yeah.
Eugene being who he was to the world of wrestling
Yeah.
would be number one.
And you're
Knowing
right.
our listening audience, I figured he would be the guy.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good
In
call.
my hopes, it would be Eugene or Right to Censor only because of most familiarity.
And I was hoping
But yeah.
Eugene and Zeus.
Well,
That
see, so we have a list of 205 Jive topics, and one that Adam gave me a long time ago was right to Censor. So that's why I put this on here. I was like, okay,
Nice.
I'll put that on there.
And they might be for a future
At
episode.
some point, yeah.
Yeah, well, they ended up in the top in the middle. So like, definitely, I would be open
There's
to doing
interest.
some more 205 Jives about these. But anyway, enough of them. Let's
Enough
get
of
into
them.
Eugene.
Yeah, Eugene won. Congrats,
Eugene
Eugene.
won.
Yeah.
The way that when he was introduced, he was on a hot streak. Eugene, clear winner of Taboo BoozeDay. This week's episode is all about Eugene. Let's just jump into it.
So Eugene was brought in. It was ridiculous, right? Eugene's a character that you couldn't have now.
Really, you would have to tread lightly.
You'd have to really tread lightly.
You can't really broach this subject with him.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
You can't treat him the way or that gimmick and style. I mean, even if it was an actual trait of his, he would still have to be depicted as just a regular wrestler, just in this tough style. Maybe just visually you could notice this detail about him.
Okay, but let's turn off
Yeah.
politically correct for a minute.
Okay.
I'm taking off my headphones because I was getting that echo again.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm
Me
going
too.
to turn off politically correct for a minute.
Right.
Eugene was quote unquote special.
Oh, I thought you were going to say retarded.
No.
Oh.
I mean, I turned off PC, but not all the way off.
Oh. Okay.
Eugene was special.
He would be like special needs. You would call him.
Yes,
Right? Yeah.
he was a special needs wrestler, and he was competing against the main roster. I don't know how else to put it, like without being derogatory, but he was a special needs wrestler.
Right. And he was it was like an idiot savant type situation, right? Where he was
Yes.
a really fucking good wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right? Like he couldn't balance a checkbook or figure out how to get to the arena on his own
Or how to tie his shoes.
or tie his shoes. He definitely didn't know how to put on a jacket because it was always on inside out.
Exactly.
Literally every time,
Which was
even with Regal's guidance, still couldn't do that.
So I had that in my notes that Regal took him under his wing but never told him how to put the jacket on. Or maybe he didn't, it just didn't take. I don't know.
Like, dude, we're good enough to win the tag team championship, but I'm not going to tell you how to put your jacket on.
Right. Wouldn't it have been funny if you put the belt on inside out, too?
Oh, that would have been great.
Missed opportunity.
So they brought him in as Bischoff's
Cousin.
nephew.
Or
Right.
nephew.
And Bischoff was embarrassed by him. He didn't want to have anything to do with him.
Which is horrible.
Did Vince bring him in? I know, right? Bischoff
Yes.
Bischoff was a fucking dick.
And we're talking 05.
Right, and Vince brought him in, but Vince was a dick too because he's like, I'm going to bring in your special needs nephew to embarrass you.
Right,
Right.
exactly. So he's
Everything-
already treated like a pariah. Like, and that's horrible. Again, we said 2020, you ain't getting away with this shit. This is definitely 04, 05 material here.
Which is not that long ago, by the
It's
way.
really
You know what
not,
I mean?
dude.
We're not talking about the 60s.
It's really not, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, he was like out of it. He was very excited to be there,
Very excited.
right?
yes.
He was like the most excited person you've ever seen in your life.
I mean, that was part of his, like, enthusiasm. Instead of doing a pose, he would literally wave to everybody.
Right. And it was like very childlike and endearing, like you loved him for it.
Yes,
You
and
know?
maybe that was part of his appeal, is that he was somebody that the audience could latch onto. Like, he was truly a sympathetic character.
Absolutely.
Like, how do you turn that guy heel? Of
Right.
course the audience is going to love him. How do you boo that guy without being a total fucking asshole?
Yeah. Oh, no, you can't
Yeah.
get booed like that.
Yeah, he was going to get latched onto.
Yeah.
So it was insensitive on one hand, but completely face on the other.
Right.
There was no way he was going to get booed.
Yeah.
No way.
Right. So they put him with Regal, which Regal, I think, was a heel at the time. And I think Regal turned babyface.
Yeah, like he kind of opposed to it at first, like, oh, you're putting me with this cretin.
Oh, fuck.
Right.
But then he like kind of
came
grew
around.
He grew on him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
like
and like
perfect
that-
strangers.
Yeah.
Like Balky grew on his cousin.
Right. Eugene was from Meepos.
Right, he's from Meepos.
Right.
Making Baba Bashkas.
So his first match, so right away, but the crazy thing about Eugene was like right away they sort of made him a big deal because his
Yeah.
first feud was with Coach.
Right.
His first pay-per-view match was against Coach, which that would probably be an excellent watch-along
I think it
episode,
would
right?
be. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But he had a whole thing with the Coach where Coach was going to like throw him out of the company and The Rock came and got his back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
saved him.
really early on, he's in the ring in a promo segment with The Rock.
Yeah.
Which like that's no joke. You know,
Right.
it's a big deal.
That's
to
a
be-
big rub.
Right off the
Right.
bat.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you think about that on John Cena's first night backstage segment with The Undertaker.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Stuff like that.
So, like,
Or
they're-
facing
they're
Angle
like-
in Cena's first match.
Yes.
Like, that's a big
Big
deal. You're
deal.
given a huge rub there.
So right away you bring in this character who's like sort of a joke, but you have
Right.
him working with The Rock, which was
Right.
really crazy. Didn't they do training videos with him? Weren't there videos where he was like Briscoe was back there training him? Or am I thinking of someone else? I remember videos like that.
I don't remember that, dude.
Okay, maybe there
This
was
is kind of
Don't
a
deny it
foggy
could
era
have
for
been.
me.
right. Yeah. Well, that is
Really?
that a lot of that ruthless aggression stuff was
Yeah.
kind of. I have to really go back and look hard at a lot of the
Yeah,
stuff.
because it all kind of seemed rammed together. Like, you
Yeah.
were given two shows. You had SmackDown, you had Raw, you had your pay-per-views.
Right.
A lot of it is kind of mashed together for me, so I forget a lot of the smaller details.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe I'm making that up. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. But then he goes right into a feud with Triple H.
That's a big deal.
That's a big fucking deal. So
Yes,
you're
to have
thinking,
a SummerSlam match with him, too?
so that was their, yeah. So that was like his next big match with Triple H at SummerSlam.
Mm-hmm.
So you're thinking they have big plans for this fucking guy. You
Right.
don't get because Triple H at this point would have been world champion. Well, this is 2004. He was champion going into WrestleMania 2000.
Right.
So 4 years he'd been a top guy. Probably even 5. You know,
Had
maybe
already
5
been
years.
the leader of DX, like
Yeah.
top of the card guy.
Right.
DX, Heart of Evolution right
yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he lost to Triple H at SummerSlam, but there's no shame in losing to Triple H.
At all. To even get a match with Triple H at SummerSlam, that's one of the big four, dude.
Totally.
That's a huge deal for him.
And Triple H. Well,
And that match wasn't a pushover. Triple H
Oh,
had
yeah,
to work.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
shit. Triple H. Would Triple H have been the top guy in 2004? He would have been, right?
I would say so.
Because it's before Cena, right? HBK would have been back at that point. Yeah, he would have been back. We had Guerrero.
So after WrestleMania 20, you're talking Angle, Guerrero, Triple H, HBK,
Benoit.
So
he's a
Randy
top-
Orton. Those are the guys that are at the top of the card.
He's a
Triple
top-
H is right there.
He's a
He
top
had-
4 guy.
He had been at the main event of WrestleMania 20, so absolutely
And a semi-main event at 19,
right,
right? He main evented 18.
right. Yeah, definitely a top
Yeah.
of the card guy. So for Eugene to just walk into a program with him,
Yeah.
big deal. I don't want to gloss over the fact too that before Eugene made his WWE debut, twice he wrestled as Doink the Clown.
No, really?
Really?
He did, yes.
When?
And once he was one half of the Conquistadors with Rob Conway.
I didn't know either of these.
Yep.
Wow.
Shotgun Saturday night.
That's why I didn't know.
Yep. And you look at the body type, you're like, of course he could be Doink. Like, he
Right.
totally had the body type.
As soon as you said that, I was thinking he's built like Matt Bourne.
Still jobber,
Yeah.
but still put into an iconic Los Conquistadors and Doink costume.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
So even walking in, like, to get that match with Triple H at SummerSlam, you're like, okay, they already saw something in this guy.
Yeah.
Given the gimmick they saddled, well, I don't know if saddled is the right word, but not a lot of guys could make that gimmick work.
Yeah.
I want to give a lot of credit to Nick Dinsmore for making that gimmick work, and for the fans, while being considered heels themselves, to actually boo that. Would still to be able to make that work.
Right.
I mean, granted, it wasn't Oz with Kevin Nash. That's impossible to get over.
Right.
But Eugene made it work.
Yeah, you're right. And he never went too far, right? Like it didn't
No,
turn it
absolutely
into,
not.
It's like it's like a Tropic Thunder, right?
Yes. Yeah. Robert Downey.
Yeah, he didn't go. He never went too far.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, he actually, you're right. He did a really good job. He committed to the character. I think almost to the point where you were like, is there something a little right?
Yes, you started to question, like, is he playing this so well, or is
Yeah.
he really like? Yeah, you started to question it.
Right. Yeah, he
Yeah.
was really good. So he lost the match with Triple H, but then he had a no DQ match with him a couple weeks later on Raw.
Yes.
And it was a Randy Orton run-in, but fuck it, it's a no DQ match. He won. He beat Triple H.
How many guys can say that? It's a short list.
Shit. Yeah, it's a short list. Yeah. Then he went into a cage match with Triple H after that. And he lost
And he
that,
lost.
which nobody beats Triple H in the cage.
No shame.
You know, yeah.
No shame.
Especially a guy in his first 6 months.
Right, and even after 04, Triple H was still going on to bigger and better things. So for Eugene
Right.
to lose to Triple H, not a big deal. You're still featured in a program with Triple H. That's a huge deal.
There's no
for a
loser
guy.
in that.
Exactly, especially for a newbie to walk into that. That's phenomenal.
Totally.
Yeah.
So then after that, he goes into a feud with Bischoff, which was, I guess you saw that coming.
Maybe you could expect that. There's going to be family
yes.
issues.
Because Bischoff was pissed because things are going well for him. I think,
Right.
Right?
All embarrassing plans that he had for him backfired.
Yes.
So obviously, because he's the authoritative figure, he's going to try to use that.
And he thinks he's a kung fu master, right? Like he wanted to fight Vince.
Yeah.
He was like,
This
Vince
is
wouldn't-
Bischoff, not Eugene.
Yeah, Vince wouldn't fight me. I'll fight Eugene.
Yeah, with my karate.
I'll beat up my special needs nephew on TV.
Yeah, right. Yeah. How do you be a sympathetic character in that regard?
Right, he's a karate chop Eugene.
Yeah, who's cheering for Bischoff in this sense?
So they had a match at Taboo Tuesday, which I did not see, which is very apropos for this episode of Taboo BoozeDay.
Absolutely.
And I didn't see who the other options were for that match, but it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. You knew Bischoff was going to win.
But it ended up being a haircut match, so he shaved Bischoff's head.
Fantastic.
Or maybe that was the gimmick. Maybe that's what it was.
It was
him and
whoever
Bischoff.
loses.
It was a gimmick match. You had to vote on that.
You vote on who gets their head shaved. Or
Yeah.
who gets whatever stipulation, and it was head
It was a
shaved.
haircut match.
Yes.
Because that's the thing with those Taboo Tuesdays and Cyber Sundays, is it was like you didn't know who was going to win, but they did sort of stack it to where you kind of, obviously you want to see Bischoff get his head shaved.
Exactly.
You know.
And I don't want to jump too far ahead,
Go ahead.
but is it safe to say that Eugene is the Undertaker of Taboo Tuesday? Because he is
Is he?
undefeated at Taboo Tuesday. There were only two.
Okay.
He beat Bischoff in 04,
Okay.
and he teamed with the great Jimmy Superfly Snuka, where they
Right.
murdered their competition.
That's right.
In Rob Conway and Tyson Tomko at the 05 event.
You're right. He is the Undertaker of Taboo
Murdered
Tuesday.
them.
I'm the Undertaker of Taboo BoozeDay.
There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You did a blowjob before the show
During the show.
in rare form. Pounding that pumpkin Halloween Havoc ale.
That's right. Oh, this is going to be gone by the time this episode's over.
Same.
Yeah. And then shots of Jaeger for the next episode.
Twist my arm.
So actually, he and Regal, before that, I think, won the tag team titles. I think
After.
okay.
After you're talking about after Taboo Tuesday.
Yeah, they won it from La Resistance.
Won the tag team titles.
Yeah, who La Resistance, by the way, we ran into in a strip club in New York.
Did we?
Yeah, remember?
I didn't run into them.
Well, you were fucked up. You were hammered that night.
Dude.
That was when you told Shannon you only spent $100. Wow. As you were taking out $8 through $900.
Why did you just turn heel on me during the
Yeah,
show?
she knows about
No,
that.
she doesn't.
Yeah, she does. I've told her this years ago.
You asshole.
16 years ago. Also, she's in the bathroom. She can't hear me.
Now you're just somebody that I used to know. I used to call you a friend.
Then he ended up getting hurt, so they had to drop the titles.
Legit busted his knee during a drop
Yeah, it was
kick.
like a meniscus.
Yes.
Right?
Horrible injury, dude.
Yeah, and Regal dropped the tag team titles on a house show.
Yeah,
which is
handicap.
always interesting when that happens.
Well, it wasn't. I think they saddled him with like Coach as a special partner
I think it
or
was.
something.
Yeah.
To take the place of Eugene, just to get the tag titles off of him.
Yeah, so he was out like 6 months.
Yeah, it was a serious injury.
Yeah, meniscus is no joke.
Yeah.
And then he came back as a surprise at 21.
Yes,
We were there.
we were there, and let's not overlook the fact not a lot of guys are given WrestleMania moments.
They
I'm
gave
talking a moment.
moment. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. A lot of guys are given matches.
Right.
How many WrestleMania matches have happened since the history of WrestleMania? Not a lot of guys are giving moments. And he was given a moment.
I mean, pick 4 memorable things from that show, and that's probably one of them.
Oh, from 21? Hogan coming out for me, because I'm a huge Hogan fan, is probably number 1.
Yeah.
There were a lot of memorable matches, from Ray and Eddie at the opener to the first Money in the Bank ladder match. But for me as a Hogan fan, that is the number 1 memory, especially being there live.
Yeah.
Real American blaring, Hogan coming to make the save against Hussein. Incredible. And Eugene was a part of
Hassan.
that. Hassan, whatever.
Yeah.
You can never take that away from him.
Yeah, totally, exactly. I mean, that's a big deal. Like we were saying, within his first year, he's been in the ring with The Rock. He's had 3 matches with Triple H, and he's been in the ring with Hogan. And
Yeah,
As
Muhammad.
well as using their moves. Maybe with permission or not, but
Was he using the leg drop?
I don't know if it was within that first year, but yes, he did.
No, he's a regular Damien
did.
Sandow.
He used the people's elbow, too.
People's elbow, stunner. Yeah.
Nice.
Pedigree on Triple H during those.
And you don't do that without permission.
Oh,
from
absolutely.
Said finisher guy.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
if you were to go back and look at guys who in their first year worked with that many guys at that level, you're not going to find many. You're going to find maybe like Brock and maybe, I don't know. Like not a lot of, you know what I mean?
For somebody that's saddled with that gimmick, and again, I don't know if saddled is the right word. For somebody that was given that gimmick, they're really taking care of him.
Right.
Yes, he's not winning every match, but again, the talent that he's got in the ring with him is really giving him that rub to where he's a big deal.
He's effectively a top guy at this point. Like
Yes,
he's a top
absolutely.
probably 5 guy on the roster.
Absolutely,
Which is
yes.
insane given his character.
Yes.
Because you're like, are they going to make this guy world champion?
Seriously,
Like,
crowds would pop on this. Not just like on B level matches, and their crowds like, oh, all right. I just hope there's a good match here. From the ones that I would see with him, they were just on their feet for him.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And let's not forget PWI. They do their annual top 500.
Okay.
He was number 21.
No shit.
Yes, he ranked as high as number 21. Now that's, you may think, 21. That's not.
It's the
But
entire
when you're
world.
taking 500 of the top wrestlers in the entire world.
Yeah.
In 2005, he was number 21.
And probably 7 or 8 of the top 20 were out of Japan. You know what I mean?
Well, if Meltzer was writing, yes.
Yeah. But there are a lot of Japanese guys in those top lists.
Yes,
So I imagine
exactly.
in North America, he would have been maybe like number 12 or 13.
Yes, so
Yeah.
that feeds into your top guy analogy that yes, he absolutely was a top guy.
Yeah,
you
which
look
is-
at who's giving him the rubs, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's nuts.
It's totally nuts. Yes.
Because you're thinking, like, where are they going with this? Are they going to make this guy the world champion?
It wasn't out of the question.
Not
In
at all.
0405, you're like, I could see it.
Not at all. So he comes back from injury. Kurt Angle does the Kurt Angle Invitational. He shows up to answer the challenge,
Yes.
beats Angle, and takes his fucking gold medal.
Takes his medals.
You're like, wow, they're just picking up right where they left off, putting him right there, because now Angle might be the number 1 guy after Cena at this point, because it's after 21.
Right.
He's right at the
when
top
he's
of the
in
show.
when he transitions away from Olympic gold medalist to wrestling machine,
Yeah.
he found the platform. He just took it.
Untouchable.
Totally. Totally.
Who else took Angle's medals? Guerrero stole them.
Yeah,
That would be the list.
I think so. Yeah.
So again, feeding into
Austin's
your
taken
point.
them, chucked them down a river.
Yeah.
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 yeah. He
Yeah.
was really treated as a big deal.
Right. So now, by like a little after or around a year since he's been there, he is a tag team champion and an
Yep.
Olympic gold medal winner.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
He ends up losing to Angle at SummerSlam. So like that was pretty. I want to say he came back in June or July. So he
Yeah.
lost to Angle at SummerSlam. But
And
again,
no shame again, like losing Triple H in 04, like that's not a big deal.
very few people
You're still in
beat
the
Angle.
ring with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then everything comes to like a fucking screeching halt.
Yes.
Right. He
Painkillers are a hell of a drug.
Yeah, exactly. He passes out in a hotel lobby. gets suspended. Turns out he passed out from somas, and this is right after Eddie had died.
Right.
So he was the first wellness policy violation.
Yes.
The first guy to get suspended for violating that.
Right.
And it was sort of all downhill from there.
It really was. It really was. That's pretty much the end of the happy story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was there for he was out for a couple months.
Yeah.
I guess that was before they actually put in the 30-day policy for your
Right.
first strike, which
Because
is like
he was back at Rumble.
he was back at Rumble, but that was more than 30 days. It was like 2 months.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean by he was suspended indefinitely.
Right.
And then he came back at the Rumble. And they kind of turned him into a joke after that. They ended up,
He really was.
they brought Hacksaw back to team with him.
Yeah, he teamed with Hacksaw, and then he turned heel against Hacksaw. Like,
He turned heel on Hacksaw.
What?
Yeah, he ended up having Kamala and Doink in his corner, which is funny now that you mentioned that he was Doink.
he was Doink at one point, yes.
Yeah, but he was around till September 2007, so he was there like 3 years.
Yeah,
Just
he was
like
there about 3 years.
A little over 3 years.
Yep. And you got to think without the painkillers, what might have been, because as we've clearly established, he was supposed to be a big deal. They
Right.
were putting him in a lot of good positions to succeed.
Right.
And painkillers derailed it.
Yeah.
And he never recovered from that wellness violation.
And he never got in trouble again. It was just like he got a lot of heat. He seemed to get a lot of fucking heat
That
for that.
was it, yeah.
And I'm sure
Probably
part of
just
it,
because it was the first one. Damn.
I'm sure because
Yeah.
it was the first one, they're going to make an example of him. I'm sure it was also partly because it was a public thing. He passed out in a hotel lobby.
Right.
If he had just failed a piss test, it probably wouldn't have been as big of a deal.
And let's not forget, Randy Orton failed the test
Yeah.
shortly after WrestleMania 22. So we're only talking about 5 to 6 months after Eugene failed his.
Right.
We obviously know the differences of Eugene's and Randy Orton's career trajectories here. So you've got to think, was there a little bit of favoritism played there? Like they saw more in Randy Orton than
I'm
they
sure
saw
there
in
was.
Eugene, and that sucks.
I'm sure there was, and I'm sure part of it was Randy Orton didn't get in trouble in public,
Yeah, exactly.
you know, and
yes.
embarrass the company.
Yeah, it was a piss test. He failed. Boom.
Yeah, I also wonder, did he get hooked on somas after he tore his meniscus?
That's
You
very
know, was it that?
possible.
Because I know a lot of guys don't just like start doing painkillers and shit like that. It's because of injuries.
Something
you know,
causes it.
yeah, like Angle had you know so many injuries over
Right.
over his career
Right.
that's how that happened. I wonder if that's what happened with Eugene. You
Very
know?
possible, and he wanted to come back too soon.
Like Mercury. Remember that was what happened with Mercury?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
same thing. He passed out in catering, got fired. He got hooked on painkillers after he smashed his face.
Right.
So I wonder if that was the situation with Eugene.
Very possible.
Kind of the last time we saw him was he shot Mark Henry with a t-shirt cannon. And
Mark Henry killed him in the
He
ring.
bear hugged him to death.
Yeah. Sucked the life out of him.
Yeah, so that was kind of it for him. That was sort of the end of it. He did come back later, maybe 2009 or 10, when
Yeah.
the Miz had been suspended.
Yes.
And they did a contract on a pole match with what was the Calgary Kid,
The Calgary Kid.
which
Yeah.
was like the last Raw in Calgary, I think. And it was Calgary Kid and Eugene. Calgary Kid won.
Yeah.
Now,
Miz in a mask.
if Eugene had not gotten in trouble, do you think he would have been a bigger deal than he was? Do you think he would have been like an IC champ or maybe
he
a
never
world
would have
champ?
been world champion.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say that I don't think he might have had matches.
IC United States or IC title.
Yes, mid card.
Okay.
Top of the mid card for sure.
Maybe
Okay.
he would be a contender, but he would never win it.
Okay,
No,
now let me
I
give you
agree.
this scenario. Would they have dropped the special needs gimmick
I
at
don't
some
know
point?
why though. They never did to finish his career out.
Just to keep it, because you can only go for so long with that anyway, right? So if he hadn't gotten in trouble, like that career was.
How do you drop that though? Like suddenly
can't.
he's not special needs anymore.
Yeah, well, like look, Kane suddenly could talk with the Cancer Kazoo, and then suddenly could talk without the Cancer Kazoo. So it's wrestling. They've done crazier shit
But
before,
Vince was
right?
the higher
You're
power.
true,
He
you're
touched
true.
Kane's head and like made
that's
him
right.
better.
Right? Yeah.
So unless Vince
Yeah.
touched Eugene's head and cured his special needs,
Well, maybe it would have
Oh
been like
yeah,
Homer.
apparently Santa Claus has the power to give Hornswoggle a voice. So the science in WWE is just amazing. I'm just
incredible
surprised WWE hasn't gotten a COVID vaccine produced yet.
Maybe it could have been like a Homer Simpson situation where they pull a crayon out of his brain.
Oh, that's right.
could you imagine?
Yeah.
Raw.
Okay. So, tell you what.
I mean, they pulled a hand out of Mae Young, so
Yeah, exactly. I think somehow they would have written into his character that he was cured or whatever the fuck.
cured a special. That would have drawn zero heat. Cured a special needs.
Or some, you know what I mean? Not cured, but like somehow, or they take him off TV for 6 months and he comes back and he's like better, but not, normal. And then he
Because Dean
slowly.
Douglas and Matt Stryker taught him how to not be special needs. They're incredible teachers.
Something. I think they would have slowly dropped it. You know what I mean? I think eventually he would have been like a regular dude, and I think maybe he could have been a world champion.
And is that just a remark on us as wrestling fans that we're like, sure, that makes sense?
No, it makes no fucking sense.
This
But
is
nothing
fine.
makes
We'll
sense.
move past this.
Nothing in wrestling makes sense.
Zero.
Yeah, but that's what
Zero.
I'm saying. Knowing WWE in particular, I don't see any reason they wouldn't have done that.
It's very possible.
Right?
Very, very possible. Who
With
knows?
with all of the details that are out there with other wrestlers, I don't doubt that. I think one other comparative wrestler for this would be Festus, Luke Gallows. Before being part of the Strange Society, Jesse and Festus. Apparently, he could turn into a fucking monster at the sound of a bell.
Sound of a bell.
I would say like there was a bit of aggression with Eugene in the same sense, not like triggered by a sound, but like you see him as playful, but suddenly he could turn on wrestling.
He'll fuck
mode.
you up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was kind of what was cool about him. Is like he'd get in the ring and he was like, and he was a wrestler. You know what I mean? He was like a Kurt Angle, Bret Hart style. He didn't go in there and just start throwing punches. You know what I mean? He would fuck you up.
Well, and later in his career, he became a trainer for NXT.
Oh,
so
right.
Obviously, they saw something in him that he became a trainer for the guys, the young kids.
That's why I swear I remember him in the training videos with Briscoe.
It's possible.
You know?
I don't remember it personally.
Where it was like before you really saw him wrestle, you saw him training, and you're like, oh shit, this guy can go.
Yeah.
But maybe I'm thinking of someone else.
But he did finish his career strong. I think in 2014 he was let go.
Something like that, yeah.
And he hasn't really done much since.
Yeah.
But, I mean, overall...
In the finite amount of time well utilized.
Yeah, I agree.
And one of those memorable characters, like you'll never forget Eugene. That's why he won. That's why he won Taboo BoozeDay.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would call him a Hall of Famer,
Yeah.
but I would put him in the discussion.
I would call him a Hall of Famer.
Over Carlito.
Well,
We had to convince you on Carlito, but you're convinced on Eugene.
Well, don't spoil a future episode. Well, maybe this episode will air after. I guess this episode has to air after that now.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I just feel like Eugene was more memorable than Carlito.
He won a tag team championship.
Hey, Carlito never wrestled Triple H at a SummerSlam.
Okay. That's
Right?
the criteria.
Damn.
Yeah,
That's the criteria. Did you ever
You
wrestle
start
Triple H
pointing
in
out
the
these
Big Four?
details.
Hey,
You're like, damn.
Hey, only
that's true.
like 10 people have shared the ring with Hogan at WrestleMania. Eugene's
Okay.
one of them. I just remembered right now. I don't know why it took me till now to remember this. Eugene's music. Do you remember his music? It was that piano.
I
It was
don't
like
remember his music.
It was
Dude.
something generic.
No.
but I think it needs to finish this episode.
it is going to finish this episode.
Excellent.
It was almost like the Rocky music or something. Like it's very like motivational. Like you hear it and you're like,
But play it on like a Snoopy piano.
yeah, yeah. It's piano.
Like 8 keys.
It was like piano with bass and drums behind it, but
Oh, okay.
yeah, but it was like very like motivational music. Like you would be like you would power walk to it or something.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
Like Vince could put a strut behind it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, all
yeah,
right.
right.
And you know, at the end of the day, really, like Eugene was supposed to be a joke character, but I think it speaks volumes to the talent of Nick Dinsmore to really take that above and beyond and get the rubs that he was given.
Totally.
And elevate what could have really been a shitty gimmick at
Yeah.
the end of the day, but to really elevate it to the next level and make something of it
Yeah,
and be great in the ring and give us some memorable matches and a very memorable gimmick.
you're totally right. We wouldn't be talking about him 15 years later if he hadn't done such a good job.
Nor would our listeners have voted for him.
Yeah,
So-
exactly.
So definitely, like us talking about him and you doing the votes for this episode, it just shows that he has done a great impact. So, mazel to Eugene for a great WWE career.
Unlike Daniel Puder. Fuck him.
And Zeus.
Hey, you be careful over there.
Yeah, Debo.
All right. Well, we've covered it with Eugene. Mazel to Eugene for winning this Taboo BoozeDay episode. Let us know what you think, and then also if we ever do this again, try to get us some show suggestions so that because we're not as creative, we want to make sure that your voices are heard, and we definitely want to talk about it here on Taboo BoozeDay in the confines of the Drunker Dome. That pretty much takes care of the episode. I guess along with Eddie and with Scott, I'm Adam. Just reminding you to Enjoy your buzz, watch wrestling responsibly, drink like nobody's watching. Still, in the meantime, please make sure to wear your mask, wash your hands, and social distance so that we can get together in the future. Hopefully, we'll be in SoFi Stadium next year, and more wrestling
that'll
adventures.
Doubt it.
Will happen. One can hope, but we'll see. That takes care of our episode. 1, 2, 3, ring the
Eugene.
bell.
Cheers.